Sup, my name is Coflo. Let's catch the ghost with some bootleg plugins. In this series, I'm taking plugins, whether I own them, use them, have tried them, learned about them, and I just get inspired by them. What they do, what they're meant to do, whether it's new ideas that I've never conceived before, or it's stuff that I put into practice in my normal workflow, whether it's production, post-production, what have you, and just trying to kind of create new things in terms of how I learn and how I use Logic, how I approach music, production, post-production, all that stuff. So on this particular episode, we're going to be looking at the CLA Epic. Super sick plugin. This is the Waves Chris Lord Algae or Algae. I screw up people's names all the time. That's just how it's going to be on this channel. So just deal with it. But the CLA Epic is an all-in-one one-stop shop for delay, reverb, routing, processing, and essentially blending. So if you are not doing blending of delays, reverbs, and routing delays through reverbs, and kind of doing this mixture of all these three ideas of delaying, reverb processing, mixing all of them, and routing them, you're missing out on a lot of amazing sonics. This plugin is taking Chris Lord Algae's, all the algorithms, taking all of that, putting his workflow into one plugin. And I'm not going to review it. I'm not going to show you how it works. There's tons of YouTube video out there, especially with this being a new plugin or relatively new plugin. The breakdown, just to kind of show you on screen at a very, very high level, is you have the blue side, which is his favorite delays. So all these different delay, each channel is a different delay that he likes, and then a different model of delay. And on the right side is all his favorite reverbs. And you have the ability to essentially say, okay, channel 1 go into channel A, or channel 1 go into channel A and C, or have all of them go into all of them. And you can then mix and decide how much of a blend you want from all of them. You can of course go in and change characteristics of the delay or reverb, like the tail and so on and so forth. Anyways, super cool plugin. Definitely something that I would like to try. I haven't tried it yet. If there for any reason is something you'd like to see me experiment with this plugin or plugins like this in the future, leave a comment and let me know. I'd be happy to make something entertaining and just entertain you. But what I did is I tried to create a workflow using Logic and using macro tools and buses in Logic to try to create something similar. And I thought it would be really cool, considering I do a lot of this processing in my own vocal production and just in general production or post-production for other people when I'm engineering. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I got going on in here. And let's listen to a little bit of this vocal.
Could it be that this was meant to be? That I am here to set your inhibition free? Could it be that this is destiny and we'll give in to the energy eventually? Can you feel the electricity pulling you closer to me like gravity? The night is full of possibility. What you want, what you want, what you want from me. I can feel my heart like a moth to a flame. Ooh, baby, I know that you feel the same. But it's only human, our chemistry's to blame. Let's just live and give in to the game.
Cool. So little bit of a taste for what it's doing, and you might be like, wow, it just sounds like some delay and some reverb, and that's what it is when you have delay and you process things with reverb, or you put them together. What's cool about this is that I tried to kind of create my own workflow that just has all of those tools put together and is processing in a similar fashion to what the CLA Epic does. So let me break down what you're looking at really quick, and then we'll take a brief look under the hood to see what it's doing. So on the left side here, just like in the CLA Epic, you have the delays, and I set up 4 different delays: a slapback, a throw, which is a little bit looser than a slapback, a sexy, which is kind of like your 8th note dotted type of vibe, and a dub delay where it's got, you know, extremely long feedback. And I set these up with delays that I felt like, but I mean, theoretically I could mix and match delays, timing, and so on. And then on the right side, I have my reverbs, and I have a gated reverb, a plate, a room, and a hall. And again, same thing. You could mix, match, swap, and so on and so forth. So this is like the core of what the actual plugin is where we have delays that are being routed into reverbs, and then those reverbs being able to be blended going out, which comes through a master chain. Okay, so let's look under the hood and pull back the curtain a little bit more so we can see what's going on and how all these knobs come together. So if I unhide my tracks here, we'll see that we have a ton of stuff that's actually hidden. So let's go ahead and look at the mixer channels. All right. So in the mix channels, we can see we have a ton of stuff going on. Core breakdown, we're not going to look at all the details. And of course, if this was something where you're really inspired and you're like, I want to know how to build this exactly how you built it step by step, leave a comment below and let me know. And if enough people are into it, I could do a tutorial exactly how to build this. But if you're familiar with busing, and I wouldn't say complicated busing, but basic bus routing in Logic, and you're familiar with Logic macros or smart controls, which are like their macro tool set, you probably can follow along with what I'm doing here. So we have my audio channel, and the audio channel has a series of buses. It has 4 buses here, 4 buses here. The first top row of buses are going into my various different delays. And all of these channels are set up as pre-fader. Then on each one of those delay buses, I also have a corresponding set of buses evenly to each one of my reverbs. So you can see 25 through 28, and here is 25 through 28 in my reverbs. So as I turn the knob, that knob, as I start to turn it pushes more into that send, which is my slap send, which also at the same time is pushing the same amount that's coming into it out into whatever that series of reverbs are, which happens to be all of them, right? And the same thing with dub, same thing with throw, etc. And then the blue button next to it is me just disabling that particular send, so either sound comes through or it doesn't come through, okay? Now that we have the routing of things going into the delay going into the reverb, how do we actually, what's going on with the reverb? Well, if we look on the right side where the reverbs are, I've set up a macro where I'm controlling a corresponding volume to whatever that reverb is. So if I turn up gate, we can see that the volume now goes up all the way to 0. And the same thing where if I needed to mute it, I'm essentially just muting the channel by clicking this little blue button. Now there's a couple other knobs in here: stereo out, chain out, and reverb out. What exactly are those knobs doing? In the case where I wanted to process just what my signal is with delay, I could essentially give it some delay and just send the stereo out, where I'm giving a parallel process or just the process of the delay. So you can see here that this corresponds to a bus here, in which case delay only is where all of these are routed to bus 24, which is the stereo only. So it's like we have part of the signal going to the reverb, part of the signal going to a main just delay bus channel. And I can decide if I want to just send the delay, or I could kind of do a bit of both, where I'm adding delay into reverb and adding the delay's original signal in. So for example, if I wanted to send just some of the sexy delay out without activating the reverb, I could do something like this.
Could it be that this was meant to be? That I am here to set your inhibition free? Could it be that this is destiny and we'll give in to the energy eventually? Can you feel the electricity pulling you closer to me like gravity?
Pretty slick, right? So I mean, that's just the delay. Now, if we wanted to send our sexy delay through some nice hall reverb, we still have that option, right?
Could it be that this was meant to be? That I am here to set your inhibition free?
But maybe I also want to incorporate some of that delay signal as is. I could certainly do that. So it's like parallel delay while the delay is also being paralleled into the reverb. So we get a blending of wet delay and dry delay, as if delays could ever be dry.
Could it be that this was meant to be? That I am here to set your inhibition free? Could it be that this is destiny and we'll give in to the energy eventually? Can you feel the electricity pulling you closer to me like...
Pretty cool, right? So you have some options there. Okay, so what are these other two knobs, reverb out and chain out? Well, in a nutshell, chain out is taking all of the processing as it comes from delay into reverb and then out to our main channel or stereo out, whatever routing we might set up. I have it set up just where it's all going to the stereo or the main bus. So if we wanted to dial back, like we have a cool mix, let's say I've got like all these knobs turned to different positions and I've got like this really interesting mix here. I'm just kind of spitballing. Let's say that this is like the blend that we want. I can decide how wet or dry the actual signal is in its entirety. So check this out.
Could it be that this was meant to be? That I am here to set your inhibition free? Could it be that this is destiny and we'll give in to the energy eventually? Can you feel the electricity pulling you closer to me like gravity?
Right, so it's not really a wet dry knob, it's more of like wet dry or how much parallel processing of all this you're adding in. And you'll notice that it's like not like this overly over the top drastic alien steez going on where we just have so much delay and reverb. And the reason why is because we're blending things. We have delays being processed by reverbs, and then we have a mix of all these different things coming together, and then we're again essentially blending how much of that signal we're even adding in past our original dry vocal. So we get a more comfortable approach, and that's why CLA Epic as a plugin is so inspiring, because it takes all that routing process that a lot of, I think, engineers and a lot of producers that are doing, especially with vocal production, in my opinion, are doing that already manually, and it's like shortcutting all of that. So this is like one of those processes I'm constantly doing, and I think it's a really tasteful way to do it. So what's this last thing? What's the reverb out? What does that actually do? So reverb out is kind of the same thing as the stereo out on the delay side. So if I wanted to only send my delay out, or I wanted to have added delay, I could do that. And how that works is that's set to a macro that's set to a series of knobs on my original channel, where if I turn the knob up, we have our buses 25, 26, 27, 28. Whatever reverb we're allowing through in the original signal chain, we're then pushing an additional set of dry signal into those. So it's effectively bypassing the delay and just going into the reverb channels. So what's cool about that, again, is it's in parallel to all the other processes. So it's not just like saying I need more of the reverbs, less of the delays. It's like saying, okay, I've got my delays being processed by my reverbs with these knobs, right? I can also then add in more delay in parallel on a separate channel with this knob. And then I also have the option to then do that again with just the reverb signal, where I can say, okay, well, process just the dry signal into these reverbs. And of course, I know if you're smart and you're like drawing all the confusing lines, you're saying, well, if you already have delay going, that signal is already being processed in the reverb, so it's kind of mixed up in all of it. And you're right. And that's the cool thing, is we're doing all these parallel processes to kind of create this nice, interesting, like swelling thing of sonic beautifulness. So let's just listen to that reverb kind of as its own, being added in on top.
Could it be that this was meant to be? That I am here to set your inhibition free? Could it be that this is destiny and we'll give in to the energy eventually? Can you feel the electricity pulling you closer to me like gravity? The night is full of possibility. What you want, what you want, what you want from me? I can feel my heart like a moth to a flame. Ooh, baby, I know that you feel the same.
Cool. So you get like this whole bunch of different stuff going on, which I think is really super cool. Now, there is one last feature here aside from all these knobs, and it's this little bit of added extra bonus where I thought, you know, when I do delay and reverb processing, one of the really important parts about how that workflow is for me is being able to tailor what frequencies I want processing on what delay or what reverb, because very rarely do I just let the full signal, the full frequency spectrum from 20 to 20K get processed. So whether it's trying to do the processing on a before it hits the delay or before it hits the reverb or after, kind of irrelevant in this particular case for what I'm trying to do. But what I did set up was again, using clever track stacking techniques where all of our buses and our audio and everything live inside of one major bus track stack. I can set up macros and instantly go and affect particular channels where I've set up different channel EQs. So on my delay only, and then also on my delay reverb master out, I've actually set up essentially filters. So if I click here, we can see that I have my delay only filter. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna send just some delay signal out, and I'm gonna show you how it can filter the frequency. And all it is a EQ that's been macroed on that delay out channel. So check this out.
Could it be that this was meant to be? That I am here to set your inhibition free? Could it be that this is destiny and we'll give in to the energy eventually? Can you feel the electricity pulling you closer to me like gravity? The night is full of possibility. What you want, what you want, what you want from me? I can feel my heart.
Cool, right? So we have an automation where we're just sweeping that high pass and low pass filters around, kind of squishing those frequencies and saying we just want this area, we want this area, we want that, we want the whole thing, right? And then we have the same thing for the entire chain itself. So the delay and the reverb has the same effect, right? So let's go ahead and send now. We're not going to send the delay as well. We're just going to send delays into some reverbs, and I'm just adding some stuff in here, and we'll just sweeten it up. And then we're going to affect the whole overall signal. So let's see what that sounds like.
Could it be that this was meant to be? That I am here to set your inhibition free? Could it be that this is destiny and we'll give in to the energy eventually? Can you feel the electricity pulling you closer to me like gravity? The night is full of possibility. What you want, what you want, what you want from me? I can feel my heart like a moth to a flame. Ooh, baby, I know that you feel the same.
Cool, so there you have it. Yeah, that's my interpretation of a CLA Epic. What do you think? Is this something where you'd want to learn how to make something like this comprehensively, see how the macros are set up? If you're familiar with smart controls and macros, you could probably figure it out. Maybe you're already doing something like this. Maybe you've made a cool workflow and you want to share it with me. Leave a comment below, let me know what's good. Or if there's any plugins or ideas out there that inspire you and you're like, yo, how would you kind of create something in this vein? Let me know. Drop me a comment and maybe we could figure it out. This project will be available to you to be able to download, so check the description and you'll be able to download it, play with it, import it to be able to get the chain, take a look at all the magic or what have you. Hope you enjoyed this bootleg plugin, and there'll be plenty more. And if you aren't already, please subscribe to the channel. Throw me a like if you're into it. It will help me out quite a bit. And if you dislike it, leave me some constructive feedback. Don't just be an asshole. Yeah, and subscribing is important because weekly content is coming at you. More good stuff like this, as well as other entertaining music and dance related goodness. So I'll catch you next time. Peace. Take it easy.